As war rages in West Asia and the Strait of Hormuz stays shut, India's energy lifeline is under serious threat. Nearly 40% of India's oil imports flow through that narrow choke point. And with Iran's blockade cutting off supplies from the Gulf, New Delhi is scrambling. So Washington has stepped in with a lifeline of its own. The US Treasury has granted India a 30-day waiver, allowing Indian refiners to buy Russian crude oil currently stranded at sea. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent made clear that this was a stopgap and came with expectations attached. India is an essential US partner, Bessent said, adding that the waiver will ease pressure from Iran's attempt to hold global energy hostage, while making clear that Washington expects New Delhi to ramp up purchase of American oil in return. But here's the catch: India will pay through the nose for it. Russian Urals crude, which was selling at a discount of $13 per barrel just days before the war, is now being sold at a premium of $4 to $5 above Brent. Indian state refiners IOC, BPCL, HPCL and MRPL have already bought around 20 million barrels from traders and are hunting for more. Moscow meanwhile says it's ready and willing.
It's up to India to decide this, on suppliers and the supply sources. We have always been open towards supplying oil to India.
But this wasn't always so straightforward. India had dramatically cut Russian oil purchases in January under heavy US pressure as part of a broader trade deal with Washington that brought American tariffs on Indian goods down from 25% to 18%. India even agreed to pivot away from Russian crude and towards American energy as part of that arrangement. Now, the Iran war has upended all of that. And while Washington is offering a temporary reprieve, it is also watching closely and warning New Delhi not to get too comfortable.
India should understand that we're not going to make the same mistakes with India that we made with China 20 years ago in terms of saying, we're going to let you, be able to develop all these markets, and then the next thing we know, you're beating us in a lot of commercial things. We're going to make sure that whatever we do, it's fair to our people, because ultimately we have to be accountable to our own people, just as the government of India has to be accountable to its people.
For now, the government says India has roughly 25 days of crude stocks and about 50 days of combined energy buffer, enough to weather the storm in the short term. But with the Strait of Hormuz still closed and oil prices climbing, Brent touched $83 this morning, and Washington keeping score on every barrel India buys from Russia, New Delhi's energy calculus has never been more complicated. With Debagna Datta, Bureau Report, India Today Global.